Hi. I just wanted to take a moment and actually talk about a topic that's going to be instrumental in your journey of hearing God's voice. And that topic is journaling. And for some of you, journaling is new. For others, you've been doing it for quite some time. But I just want to kind of go over some of the benefits of journaling. It is an amazing tool that we use, that we can utilize in our relationship with the Lord, that brings just such a richness to our relationship. First of all, I want to take a peek at a passage of scripture from Psalm 45:1. And I'm really highlighting the end of this passage, but I'm going to read the entire verse. So, Psalm 45, verse 1: My heart is stirred by a noble theme as I recite my verses for the king. My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer. Now, the King James Version, I believe, reads it: My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. And so when we think about that being that ready writer, we are actually recording that which the Lord lays on our hearts. We're writing it down. That which would come out of our mouths, that could come out of our mouths, that brings release, we're writing it down. We're recording it. Okay? So, Psalm 45:1. Um, and so, why journal? I kind of already gave you a little bit of that. But we journal to actually remember. I've been journaling for a long, long time, actually since a teenager. But I don't have every single one of my journals, but I have the bulk of my journals. Um, During times where I was just praying to the Lord in my journal, times where I was recording or just praising Him for the victory, for breakthrough. So I have testimonies in my journals. I have prayers in my journals. I have things that the Lord spoke to me while I was even asking in my journal. And so it provides history. It's something that I can look back at, that really speaks to my heart. So, when I first encountered the term journaling, I think I was in fourth grade, and I read this book called Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. It was a Judy Blume book. Um, and I'm not saying that that was a Christian book, but it was like an introduction to journaling to me, for me. In addition to that, my Aunt Vicky gave me a journal. It was just a little paperback journal. It didn't even have hardly any space to write in, but I began journaling. That was part of my introduction to journaling. Um, and I began to journal a little more regularly as I grew up in my younger, like young adult age, probably around 19, 20 years old. I would just write prayers. So there are several ways that you can journal. The first one being devotionally. You can journal devotional devotionally as your devotion to the Lord. Whether that's writing your prayers, whether it is even writing, dialoguing, excuse me, which is still part of your prayers, dialoguing with God. You can write that in your journal, writing different passages that perhaps He laid on your heart for that day, and then even writing how it impacts you. So, the first way of journaling is simply devotional. It's with you and the Lord in your prayer time, and just, hey, having that conversation with God. And I can tell you, I love doing that because there are so many times that I was able to go back and look. I'm saying months, weeks, years later, look at my journals and see, oh my, I was struggling here in an area. And then later, I see where God had turned it around, So journaling is a powerful tool. Here's a second way, or a second type or style of journaling, and that's revelatory, which I just kind of hinted on. Revelatory journaling is simply documenting the things that the Lord releases to you, the things that he shows you. It could be from a dream. You're writing down what you dreamed, and then the Lord's also giving you the interpretation. Or perhaps you're waiting on the interpretation, but you wrote down the dream, which is so important. So, revelatory journaling. Revelatory journaling is recording what the Lord speaks to you, what he shows you. And again, it's dreams, it's insight, it's information that he gives you. It can also be instruction. That's all revelatory, just meaning what has shown you. And the third way that I want to highlight today is bullet journaling. Bullet journaling is fun as well. Bullet journaling is just making bullet notes, so to speak. Sometimes you'll see writers use bullet journaling because they can just do a quick dot, 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 and I say dot, 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 a quick phrase, a quick thought, and then later go back and expound or expand on those thoughts that maybe they placed in bullet form. Okay, journaling, I want you to know this, journaling is not intended to be limited to words only. You can have fun with your journaling. Whether that's receiving a song from the Lord and writing it in your journal, or artwork. How about that? There have been times that I've drawn a picture in my journal, but it was because I felt like the Lord was showing me this picture. And so it was a prophetic act. And as I began to draw that flower, and I didn't know when I drew the flower, but when I drew the flower, it was actually the prophetic announcement of something new coming in my life. And sure enough, because when I drew that flower, when I took that time to get out my watercolors and to begin to what felt like doodle on these pages of my journal, I was at a point where I was kind of stuck. I felt like I was stuck in life. And so when I had that time of just drawing and journaling with the Lord, and I drew that flower and kind of painted it, it actually opened some things. So journaling can also unblock you. Powerful tool. So once again, journaling is not limited to words. You can journal through pictures or art that the Lord shows you. Remember, journaling doesn't have to be rigid. God is creative, and so he's made you to be creative as well. Each and every one of us actually possess creativity. It may not look like the next person, but you possess creativity. And so God wants you to be able to tap into that creativity, because as you tap into the creativity, it actually breaks you forth into something new. There is something called Art Sozo. And if you haven't heard of it, look it up. Art Sozo is amazing because it brings freedom and healing, just like regular Sozo brings healing and breakthrough, etc. And I have some friends that actually lead some Art Sozo sessions. This will help you to break through in your healing journey. So as you journal, keep it fun, keep it intimate with God. If he gives you a song, write it down. If he gives you a poem, write it down. If he speaks to you while you're dreaming, while you're sleeping, in a dream, write it down. It's, because all of that is going to help you in the future. Journaling is a wonderful way to reflect, to record, and to steward that which the Lord is speaking. And it is so vital for your journey in the Lord, for just the adventures that he wants to take you into, and just helping you to hear and recognize his voice and his leading. So I hope that this has been helpful. I just wanted to give you just sort of a mini session on the importance of journaling, and hopefully you heard something that will help you to grow in that area. Blessings to you.